Retrouver aujourd'hui. Nous faisons une entrevue aujourd'hui avec un expert. Donc, c'est vraiment un expert très, très spécial dont l'entrevue aura lieu en anglais parce que notre expert aujourd'hui parle seulement anglais et hindi. Mais bon, on a préféré que ce soit l'anglais pour moi plutôt que l'hindi. Et je vous présente Dr. Gupta. Hi, Dr. Gupta. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation and being part of the Eternel DS program. It's an honor and a great pleasure to have you on the program.
It's my pleasure.
And I'll just speak a little bit in French. So I'll introduce you in French and then we can continue in English. Donc, Dr. Gupta, il est un expert reconnu à travers le monde. Ça fait plus de 30 ans qu'il pratique l'Ayurveda. L'Ayurveda, c'est la médecine indienne traditionnelle, donc celle qui a été transmise de génération en génération pendant des milliers d'années. Et Dr. Gupta a fait des conférences à travers le monde, sur les 5 continents, dans énormément de pays, des universités. Il a fait de la recherche également. Il a publié des documents, des documents de recherche sur l'Ayurveda et tout ce qui touche l'Ayurveda. Et il est vraiment d'une grande, grande expertise. Et ce qui est très intéressant, c'est que maintenant, il est situé à Ottawa, au Canada. Donc, il habite depuis plusieurs années, depuis 2007, ici à Ottawa. Ça fait donc plus de 10 ans maintenant qu'il a son cabinet ici d'Ayurveda. Et avec ce cabinet et avec tout ce qu'il a fait également, il comprend à la fois la version occidentale et aussi la version ayurvédique, donc plutôt indienne, et il peut combiner les deux. Donc c'est vraiment un très grand expert et je suis vraiment ravie de l'avoir sur le programme d'Eternel DS. Il va vous partager des choses vraiment incroyables, entre autres il va vous expliquer d'une façon un peu imagée ce que signifient différents symptômes que vous avez peut-être en ce moment dans la période de ménopause et dans la tradition indienne, comment on fait pour traverser cette période qui n'est vraiment pas une maladie. So I just explained what you did and what you'll explain to us today. So today what you want to talk about is maybe explain the general concepts of Ayurveda, like what we can call as the earth, fire, and air, and also help us to understand how the transition in menopause, what's the impact on us, and how we can treat it naturally, of course, on the physical side, but maybe more. There might be more things that you want to share with us on the emotional side, on the mind, or maybe as well on the spiritual side. Because what's great with you is you have both sides. You have this traditional Indian medicine, and you also know in the West what we do. So you know both. You can help us to guide us to the best.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So for you, how do you see what is menopause, and how do you see it as a doctor?
It's my great joy to speak on a very important subject, which is one of the important phases in women's life, menopause. And I will try to remove many myths that population or women have, that once they have menopause, then maybe something negative happening in their life. I will try to remove those with scientific evidence and how they can make best use of this particular phase. Instead of calling a declining phase, I would like to give it the name golden transition phase.
I like it. It's very great. So it's a golden transition and not aging.
Not aging. It's certainly not aging. And as you just mentioned that, because I will be using some technical terms, many of the viewers may not be familiar with Ayurveda words. So I will give a little bit of introduction of Ayurveda first, and then I will relate those fundamental principles of Ayurveda to menopause phase of women's life.
Excellent.
And I will explain give some modern description that what are the changes that happen due to which menopause comes, and what are the symptoms, both from modern perspective and Ayurvedic perspective. And then I will go into the therapies or modalities that a woman can use, can bring in their life to make best use of the transition that is happening to them.
Excellent.
How does that sound?
That's a very great program.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. So let us start first with particularly those who don't have a background understanding of Ayurveda. Let me say what Ayurveda means. Ayurveda is made up of, it's a Sanskrit word, it's made up of two words, Ayu, Veda. And Veda means knowledge, or we can say science, and Ayu means lifespan. This particular subject of menopause is particularly related to a phase of life. We will go into detail of that later. One of the very unique approach and principle that Ayurveda gives is with the belief that as is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. So which means Ayurveda says that the smaller than the smallest as a cell in our body is completely part of this whole physiology. We cannot isolate or separate one part. Like if a liver has a problem, then we only think about liver. Liver has a problem, the whole body has one or another symptoms and effects. So as is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. Now when I say that, then we have to understand there should be some common basis in terms of constitution, in terms of what we are made up of and what the whole macrocosm is made up of. So at physical level, Ayurveda says that everything in the world is made up of 5 elements. And we can take anything, we can take fruits, vegetables, human being, plants, animals, weathers, everything is basically, it can be understood in terms of 5 elements. So the next thing is, what are those 5 elements and what is the basis of that? So the 5 elements I'll explain more, taking from the gross element to subtle element. So the grossest element is what is the stuff that everything is made up of, like this computer, this table, or our body made up of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, bones, muscles, tendons, etc., etc. So all of that is, we can understand as earth element. So everything that makes us is called earth element. Now second element is called water element. So just for the sake of example, we can say if we have clay powder, which is the stuff that we make, and if you have to create a cup from it or some say toy from it, then what do we need in that clay powder? What do we need in that clay powder?
I would put some water so it can stick together.
Exactly. So this is the important point here. So the water element, we don't literally understand as of water that we drink, but it's more the element that binds, that sticks things together. So we can understand this even better, that what happens say at age of 50, 55, where hair starts falling, gum receding, the skin starts becoming loose. Why that happens? Because of this water element, or body's ability to re-moisturize, rehydrate, as it was doing from the age of 20 to 40, now that is becoming less. And that's why these things are happening. So that's significant water element, or we can say ability to bind things together, or we can say rehydrate or re-moisturize. That's why we need so much of moisturizers that we use, moisturizing cream and all those things. So that is the significance of water element. Third element, now if we say we have created a cup, now that cup may not be strong. If it falls, it will completely break down. So how do we make that particular cup strong or a toy strong? We expose it to fire so that binding now becomes even closer. In our physiology, what happens? We eat the food, and that food, all of us might eat the same food, but then that food converts into what we look like. So that means it's not the food that decides what it has to become after it goes into the body. It is the internal fire with the memory of self converts the same food in an animal like animal, in me like me, in you like you.
That's very great. So, I like the image.
Right. Yeah. So that is the fire element. That means it cooks and converts and transforms into what we are. And that's why it is very important that the fire element is balanced and works perfectly until the late age. So we can see that some examples people give that around 50, 55 say, oh, I have been able to eat and digest all these foods very well, no problem, no digestive issues, and now I am eating the same food and I am having sometimes gas, bloating, constipation. What is happening is this fire element is going down. Now, going down by age does not mean that we have to suffer after some age. The only signal there from nature is we have to adapt according to changes that are coming so that we can stay healthy as good as when we were 25 or 30. The signal is not that once we are 50 means we have to have all these kinds of aging symptoms. No, Ayurveda doesn't believe in that. Ayurveda believes that have information of what are the changes that are naturally coming and adapt your diet and lifestyle according to that to enhance your immunity, your vitality, your look, your skin quality, everything. And intelligence. So that was the third element, fire element. Then what happens, say we have taken the food and with the help of enzymes, we have broken it down in the small intestine. Now it is like a liquid form, all complex protein that we have eaten, carbohydrate and fat and everything, now it is in the liquid form. Now the next thing what need to happen? It has to get absorbed through the gut, go into the blood. And then blood has to go into the heart and pump it. And through that pumping, it will reach to each and every cell and tissue of the body to nourish them.
Isn't it smart, eh?
Yes. So all of this absorption, circulation, and then going and nourishing, transportation, and then taking the consumable, which means nutrients, and disposing what is disposable, which means waste product. All this movement, we need another separate, distinct element, and that is called air.
It's like we blow
Right.
on everything, so it
Right,
goes at the
right.
right place.
So all the air element in our body is like nervous system because it is a sensing mechanism, circulation, elimination, all of that we can see as air element. Okay, and the last element, most important one, like say if we have this whole space, and in this space then we create the wall, and then we create a space for a specific reason, like say this is the reception room, then there is a kitchen. So by dividing the space and then constructing it according to specific use of it, we can use that space. But if there is some blockage in between, then the flow of energy or in the body flow of nutrients is, or flow of waste products is obstructed.
Yeah.
So we can see that how many diseases occur just because of blockage. And what is blocked is the space. So say artery leading to heart, if that is blocked, then even everything else is fine, but just because of the blockage, heart will stop functioning. And the same thing is in all other macro and micro channels. They have to be clear, so unobstructed, so that all the flow of information, nutrients, waste products is effortless.
And we can see it in the traffic.
And we can see in the traffic. So that's why we can see that how the space element is also important. So these are 5 fundamental elements that are important.
Yeah.
And balance of these 5 elements is health, and imbalance of any one of them is sickness, and whichever one is out of balance, then the sickness will also be according to that. Say if the fire element is too much, then there will be too much heat, then there will be inflammation, burn, redness, those kinds of things. And if say earth element is more, so then those who have more earth element means more stuff, means more weight, so they will have easy tendency to gain weight and difficult to lose it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is another aspect of Ayurveda, which Ayurveda not only think about these 5 elements, which also we understand as homeostasis or balance. We don't only understand that as same in everyone.
Yeah, it's not static. And
It's not static and it's not same in all.
Yeah.
So we also have a concept of identifying unique body constitution of each individual.
yes.
So we don't say that one fits all, one pill fits all. We don't believe in that. Ayurveda does not believe in that. So basically then Ayurveda has a unique way of identifying constitution. Now, having explained everything in terms of 5, then these 5 elements are also understood in terms of 3 biological energies or physiological entities in our body. You can say these 3 factors. So these 3 factors, again these 5 make these 3 factors. So earth and water makes the kapha.
And
right?
kapha is...
And kapha...
How can you translate it?
Okay, so kapha, we can say the physiological correlate of kapha, all the body tissues, all the fluids in our body. So like say digestive fluid, blood, cerebrospinal fluid, all the body tissues, so muscles.
Everything that is a foundation.
Foundation. Everything that we see is basically kapha. The lubrication of the skin, the wetness in the mouth, moisture in hair, everything, even inside in the digestive system, there is mucous membrane, all of that is kapha.
And some people have more kapha than other
Yes, good.
elements.
So good point that you are making. So just to understand practically, so if someone has more kapha, then what will happen? So more earth and more water. So that means they will have more weight. Right, more than normal, or tendency towards gaining weight, right? So that's why we say in Ayurveda we also have this balance of. Let me just finish this part, first 5 elements, and so I explained already the kapha part, which is earth and water, that makes the kapha. The second biological factor is pitta, which is made up of fire. We can say almost 90% fire and 10% water.
And it's not the bread, the pitta bread.
No, it's not.
It's not the pitta bread.
No. So it is PITTA, and this represents basically because it has more fire. So physiological correlate to pitta is digestive enzymes and hormones. Everything in our body that helps to convert whatever we take, the food or emotions or anything, into body tissues, into first nutrients and then into the body tissues. So that's called pitta. And this is predominant with the fire, which means heat. So then again, I will go into those who have more pitta constitution, and they will have more fire, and that will enable them to have very good digestion and metabolism. Right?
And a lot of drive as well.
And a lot of drive.
Yeah.
So emotionally,
their fire is
Go.
So
So their tendency basically is that they can digest food very well. They sometimes say, "Oh, I can eat wooden nails and have no problem," right? But then again, if they miss the meal, you have to watch around, because they get irritated and they get frustrated.
I know my boyfriend is the pitta,
yes,
and he cannot skip a meal.
Right. Another important thing that they have a drive. They are very creative, very organized, goal oriented. Yeah. But then to work with them, you have to go according to their pace and according to their plan. One thing here and there upsets them easy. So they are very easy to get upset, though they are very goal oriented and very successful. Okay. Now we go into the third biological factor, which is made up of air and space. So air makes it more moving, right? So those who have this more air and space but less of earth, that means they have less weight. So these people will have a tendency of underweight. They will say, how come I eat more portions of food than many other people and still I don't gain weight? And there are the other people like kapha, and they say, I smell the food and gain weight. Right?
And so, that person in front of me, she can eat anything.
Anything, and it's still no problem.
Exactly.
Okay, so these are three kapha, pitta and vata. These are 3 factors, 3 biological factors. Balance of these factors brings the health, and imbalance of any of those brings the imbalance according to whichever is out of balance. So now we have understood the 5 elements and the balance and imbalance of those. We have understood the 3 doshas made up of from these 5 elements. We also understood, now there is one thing that is very important to understand. Just like in the modern system we have genetic makeup. Everyone is born with a genetic makeup. In Ayurveda, we already categorize that genetic makeup. The difference is, genetic makeup is useful only for a genetist. If you know your genetic makeup, it's just an information, you cannot make much use of it.
No.
But there is a born genetic makeup, or we can say born predominant dosha. And if we know that, then just like we know that, okay, if I am genetically kapha, or I am genetically pitta, or I am genetically vata, and then kapha is made up of earth and water. So according to that, earth is more heavy, water is more oily. So that means I have predominance of heavy and oily qualities in me. So that means if I eat more heavy and oily food, I will happen to gain weight easy.
Yeah, earth will be more present in my body.
Exactly. Yeah. So then that means if I have to reduce this, not gain this, I have to eat opposite of that. So I have to eat more the dry foods, more light foods, and more hot foods or spicy foods. And that will keep me balanced and healthy. So what is the difference between the modern categorization of genetic makeup over Ayurvedic categorization of genetic makeup as of kapha, pitta, vata? That you can choose, you can design your diet plan, you can design your lifestyle plan to stay healthy. So in one word, this information is empowering to you for prevention as well as health maintenance.
And it's what I like from Ayurveda, because when I'm more on a kapha tendency, like I know I have to bring some fire or to bring some air to get moving and to go back. But when I'm more on the insomnia, I don't sleep. Okay, I know I need more earth to be more grounded. When things don't go up, okay, I need more fire. So
good.
I like the view because it's very tangible. We can see the elements around.
Right. In fact, I have even seen this is because using the modern medicine information, you need to be a biologist and you need to have information of physiology, biochemistry, pharmacology. But this information is so simple that even when I taught this information in a period of just 1 or 1.5 hour to only 4th graders. I was teaching a class in States, and I was invited to give a lecture on Ayurveda, introduction of Ayurveda to 4th graders. And to my surprise, even in matter of 1 hour, the children were able to get it because all of them experience the taste, sweet, sour, salt, pungent, bitter, astringent. All of them experience hot, cold, oily, dry, heavy, light. So within 1 hour of this presentation, they were able to understand what I should be eating, what circumstance. Not that they became Ayurvedic expert, but at least they got some understanding. The point I'm making here, the design of Ayurvedic knowledge is based on so simple natural principles that are experienced by all of us as a living being anyway, because we are equipped with those elements based on the knowledge from these elements, the whole knowledge of Ayurveda for science of life is designed. So that's why all of us can understand. Sometimes this question is always raised, oh, Ayurveda is coming from India, how can those foods and those vegetables and those fruits and the herbs be applicable here? It's not about the herbs, it's not about where information came. This information can be experienced, can be known by people from any part of the world, because it is about the earth, water, fire, air and space. It is about the hot and cold, heavy, light, oily, dry. All of us experience this.
And we can use the herbs and the food that
exactly,
we have.
Exactly. Just whatever food around us, we can know the properties of those, and we can use according to these earth, water, fire, air, space, or we can use according to kapha, pitta and vata.
Yeah, excellent.
Good. So I hope that this brief introduction, you were able to get it. I hope that our audience, our viewers will able to get it. This information, this introduction, I hope that this is very useful to you. And I know this might be first time for many of you, but The website is there. My website is www.holisticayurveda.ca.
And we'll put
You
it
can
down.
take,
So
we will also display this.
Yeah.
So you can go there and read more about it, or feel free to call at either you or maybe 613-422-0936, so that we can provide more information and remove if any doubt you will have. So I wanted to give this introduction of Ayurveda because these are the principles that we will use to understand the menopause and what are the things that we can do to make that transition from pre-menopause, perimenopause to menopause and post-menopause a golden transition.
Because what you said is what is in the microscope is also in the macroscope. So what we can do for our own body, we can do it for the periods in the life.
Exactly.
So I think it's very applicable that what we learn, like in the childhood, we are more one time. And what are we during the menopause time? Do you want to explain?
Yes, I will explain that. So now what I will do is I will apply these principles more to understand menopause and what can be done. In order to understand that, I want to give a little bit of introduction, from modern point of view as well as from Ayurvedic point of view. What is it? This is very significant, particularly for women age. And we know that in women age or men, there are phases. So from birth, around 12, 13, for women particularly, because of surge of some hormones which are progesterone and estrogen. So then puberty starts. Puberty means the periods start. Why that happens? Because of the progesterone now more in the blood and estrogen. So there are few organs where these are basically coming from, the signals are coming from the brain, and then that affects on 2 or 3 organs in women particularly. It affects on the breast, it affects on the ovaries, and it affects on the uterus. So what happens, the signal comes every month, and then it stimulates, these hormones go up, and the estrogen and progesterone, they go up, and then progesterone starts preparing uterus, and then estrogen and other hormones, which is FSH, follicle stimulating hormones. So in the ovary, there is a layer, it's called Graafian follicles. So they are like finger-like projection in the ovary.
Yeah.
So this FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, it increases, and these follicles start swelling. And then there is another hormone which is called LH, luteinizing hormone. So one of the follicle converts into one round thing called corpus luteum. And that is happening because of LH increasing. So then what happens, then this converts into an ovum, and then it comes out, and then uterus has these fallopian tubes with finger-like projection, and here is the ovary. So the cell ovum goes through this finger-like projection and then comes into the uterus. But during this time, the progesterone is increasing the circulation in uterus wall, and it starts swelling. And then what happens? Now, and the ovum is coming into the uterus. Now, if the sperm comes and fuses, so then what happens? Then that fusion, now the wall is ready to receive it. That's why circulation was increasing, blood supply was increasing. It only sticks there if the fusion has happened. Yeah. If fusion does not happen, then it cannot implant there. So what happens is the swollen capillaries in the uterus wall, they break. And that's why some women who have symptoms around this time, this is just before the periods, right? So if it doesn't implant, then the wall breaks, and then what we call as menstrual fluid or monthly period. It has the ovum, it has some shredded wall of the uterus, and it has some blood. Now that is the normal. So what happens around age of 12 or 13, sometimes it varies, these hormones go up, and then they continue from that age for whole phase for say 25-30 years, sometimes 35 years.
Yeah.
As long as these four hormones, key hormones, which is estrogen, progesterone, LH luteinizing hormone, FSH, they are at their optimum level.
And they each have a different optimum level.
Have optimum level.
Yeah.
Now what happens at the age of, in North America,
because it's different in India?
Some places it is different.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
some places it is different. So the average age in North America, it depends upon the lifestyle. It depends upon how much people are dependent on using tools and how much they are dependent on doing the day-to-day things on their own.
Okay.
Right? And different postures and different kind of yoga postures that people have naturally in their life.
Yeah.
So that helps. But what I'm saying is that because of these hormones, at some stage, sometimes around 40, 45, like 45. So around 45, now the changes start happening in these hormones, so they start declining.
Yeah.
So which means now the hormone level is becoming a little bit less. So that means the organs are not getting ready same as before, right? So now what is happening, because of this, now the transition is coming. So this is declining, and according to that the changes also, because not only that these hormones are important only for the having the monthly periods, but also the quality of skin, bones, hair, and even just emotional level, heart function, everything is affecting by normal levels of estrogen, progesterone, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So when it starts declining, then body responds to it, and body responds to it so there are some new things coming. Sometimes they could be unpleasant, and we can call them as symptoms of menopause. Really menopause we call when 1 year after, 12 months after the last period, we call it as menopause. But the symptoms already start fluctuating much before that, which means
like
a year.
For some women it can be 5 or even to 12 years, 12 years before.
Right. And as you can see in this graph, here, you see there is this peak. These three studies are done for pre-menopause, means before really menopause has started, maybe 5 years before. So you can see the peak here, blue dotted peak, and then you can also see this undotted but blue peak.
Yeah.
And this is 6 times, so which means 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you can see the red one, undotted one, and then there is also dotted one, which is for the estrogen and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. So you can see that the peaks are much high for all 4 of them. That means the functions of estrogen, progesterone, and follicle stimulating hormone and LH, they are fine. But then you can also see just in the slide below that is perimenopause, just before menopause, we can say 1 year or few months before it. So then you can see all jumbled up. Everything is just, in the matter of 6 months, there is no pattern that you see.
It's like rock and roll.
Right. Before that, you can see all, there is a symmetry, there is a regularity.
Yeah, and you mentioned that before that period, it's the eyes or even higher.
So here you can see that all erratic production within 6 months, everything, and that's why the symptoms of this will be hot flashes, the sweating in the palms, waking up in the night with hot flashes, sweats, and change in the moods, irritability, mood swings, those things. Sometimes some women start accumulating fluid, so retention of fluid, and then that makes them gain weight. Sometimes edema, dryness in the skin, itching, vaginal dryness, all those things start happening around this time, perimenopause. Okay, palpitation, So these are the symptoms that will happen. In the post-menopause, you can see that all those 4 dotted red line, dotted blue line, and the unbroken red line, so they are all settled. But what it shows is now the symptoms will be settled here, but on the other hand, they are low in there.
Yeah.
Right.
The level changed.
Level changed.
Yeah.
So level changed from the peak to
but
flat.
It's always the same.
It's always the same.
Okay, excellent.
Right. So you can see here this, and then now the same. We try to understand this fluctuation or cycle of hormones starting from puberty to the middle age, and now into the 45, 50, and then into 55, 60. So at 60, they all became settled but low. In 45, they were almost at peak. So in between phase is more of the sometimes for some women can be really challenging. But I want to assure that Ayurveda has so many good solutions by simplistic understanding of this phase in terms of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and then adjusting diet according to increase or decrease of one of other can help to make this transition very smooth, as well as not problematic but more enjoying. And what are the things that we have to specifically do to deal with this 5 to 10 years of phase? So we'll go through that.
Excellent.
Okay?
That's excellent.
In this diagram, you can see here that how this is the basically birth, and this is we can say going towards later stage.
So the left is 0.
Left is 0, so birth, and then you can see before 30.
Yeah.
And that is what happens in that age. So very, very small young fetus, newborn child, and then within 1 year, the child actually grows. It grows physically, it grows even intelligently. So that means growth is the key feature.
Yeah.
And then even from 1 year till 10 year, 12 year, the growth is even more.
And it's when
right?
we build the
So person is building up, and that is represent. So what is increasing in terms of element? It is the earth and water. That means Kapha is increasing. So that means Kapha is predominant in anyone, in man or woman. Kapha is predominant from birth till the age of 20 or 25. And now by that time, our brain cells, our bone cells, all our tissues, even the reproductive system, all of them have matured. Now what is the phase? And which is the one that is responsible for maintaining everything that has matured in the sense that has grown to its optimum level. Now which is the dosha that is responsible for maintaining it so that it doesn't decline? So it is the Pitta.
Fire.
Right? So fire in terms of enzymes, hormones in the body is responsible for maintaining it. Right? So as long as this Pitta is maintained, the process of declining can be delayed.
So it can be between 30 and 60?
We can say we can actually say between 20 till 45, 50.
Okay.
So that phase you can see here is shown by red, means fire, right? So and this continues here, somewhere here. So you can say 50, and then it is going into
when we go to the purple, it's more. Yeah.
It's more towards that. Okay. So you can see here that in this phase, Pitta is optimum. So digestion is good for irrespective of what type you are. In Pitta, it will be even more predominant, but even in Kapha, Pitta is good in that phase. Even in Vata, Pitta is good in that phase.
Good.
And then as soon as we start approaching around 45, in some it can start a little early, in some it can start a little delayed, or also our diet and lifestyle can delay it. Right?
Yeah.
It comes, but we can delay it.
So we can do things and it doesn't have too much impact.
No.
But great.
So
we can eat all that chocolate and we don't put weight.
Exactly. So we will come to that what exactly we can do. We'll talk about some diet things. We'll talk about that. So the dosha play in terms of menopause So the change from Kapha phase into the Pitta phase, and then from Pitta, which is around 45, 48, 50, then Pitta starts going down, and which means the hydrating ability, moisturizing ability, the lubricating ability, so which means Kapha is going down.
Yeah.
That's why the need of using moisturizer, skin moisturizer, drinking more water, that increases.
So it's very, very important at that period to drink water.
Exactly.
A lot.
Right.
Even
right.
if you're kapha. Maybe
exactly.
a little,
little less, but still person has to drink.
Yeah, so if you're Vata and Pitta, drink more. Much more.
More water. Yeah, right, right.
So the people that tells me, oh, I'm a camel, not good.
No. Okay. So now we will go into some of the symptoms so that everyone knows what exactly symptoms, and then we will try to also relate these symptoms to which particular dosha. That tells us that which dosha is increasing. Now if it is increasing, does not mean we cannot do anything. This is the beauty of this particular knowledge, that whatever we see is naturally increasing or it is increasing due to we are doing wrong things, we can actually reduce them or stop them from coming. So that's the beauty. So I will go through the list of the symptoms.
Yeah.
This is particularly in the perimenopause, so just before, you can say few months. So which means that at this stage, women would see, oh, missed one period, or sometimes no period for 3 months, and then period came, like that. It's that kind of phase.
Okay.
Okay. So in this irregular periods, that's what and because we saw in that diagram which was showing the graph how everything was jumbled up. So when it is showing up, then the hormones goes up, and then the periods may come, and then again they go down. So then period may not be there for 2 or 3 months, or maybe even longer. So irregular periods, and that is the irregularity is the symptom of increased vata.
Okay. More air.
More air. Yeah. And then second is the vaginal dryness. So dryness, that's again air. So the dryness increases because the lubrication or hydrating ability is going down. So kapha is going down, or water element is going down. So that's why this dryness comes, and that is again vata, or we can say air, more dryness. Okay. So that's why we are suggesting to drink more good juices, good herbal teas, or water.
Excellent.
Okay. And then we have hot flashes. So hot flashes is really not that. You might think, oh, hot flashes, so is it pitta increasing? No, it's the fluctuation period. So sometimes there are hot flashes, that means pitta or fire is increased, so that means hormones are increased, and then they go down, then the hot flashes go away, right? So again,
when there is too much fire. So it's why when we eat spicy meals, then pitta goes up. And we have hot flashes.
Right. So that is that we will talk about that part. That so what exactly we can eat more and what we can avoid more during that time.
Excellent.
So we'll come to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then night sweats. Again, sweating is fire, right? So that is also pitta. Okay. Then we have sleep problems. So because of the increased heat, even if we don't have any of these issues, but if it is too hot, we wake up. So when internal heat is increasing, then also that wakes up. So that's why sleep problems. Mood changes, of course, that is also vata. Because of retention of fluid inside, the retention of fluid, there could be weight gain. Okay, and slower metabolism, thinning of hair. Again, this is also hydration. So if the roots of hair, they have proper lubrication, proper moistening, then the hair will be more thicker and oily. But because vata is increasing, means air is increasing, means dryness is increasing, because the oiliness is reducing. So that's why hair starts getting thinning, and sometimes even hair fall starts.
It's like a flower.
Right.
We need.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And so dry skin also. So the oiliness, the people start complaining. Now they have more dry skin, loss of breastfulness, again vata. So what are the treatments that actually modern medicine recommends? We will go, just for the comparison's sake, we will go through very quickly.
Yeah.
So this basically, according to modern medicine, doesn't require much treatment, and symptomatic treatment can be done. There is a lot of debate on Sometimes modern medicine recommends hormone replacement therapy. At some point that was considered as very good solution, but now there are debates that there are so many side effects of it.
Yes.
And so that's why should we do it, not do it, and sometimes doctors leave it up to the discretion of women to decide.
And important side effects.
Yes,
like
important.
It's not just
right. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why this is now debated, that sometimes the benefits and the negative effects, if the benefits outweigh the negative effects, then it is up to women to decide if they have to go for hormone replacement or not to go for hormone replacement. And then for, vaginal estrogen can be given for dryness, low dose of antidepressants if that is. But there are many very good solutions of that depression. One can start the yoga, one can start the pranayam, one can start the yoga nidra, one can start the meditation. So non-drug therapies are there that person can do, and good lifestyle and nurturing yourself and emotionally nurturing and be with the friends who are understanding and who are nurturing, you can take care of these things.
And finding your purpose as well.
Yes.
For depression.
Exactly. Yeah. And then GABA Pantene is also given for hot flashes, medications for osteoporosis. So these are some of the treatments that are recommended. Some of the modern lifestyle approaches, particularly during this phase when the perimenopause or menopause phase, so cool off, because heat particularly is fluctuating. So generally cool off. Okay, and avoid spicy food, of course, because as we see, when the hot flashes are coming, spicy food will increase even more.
So that's more on the Ayurvedic
approach. Caffeine, because caffeine and alcohol is acidic, so increases heat. So that is also, and caffeine increases dryness, and dryness is already increasing in the body, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
And then decreasing the vaginal discomfort, there are creams. Get enough sleep, make a proper schedule to go to bed in time. Relaxation techniques, we talked about those, pelvic floor exercises, balanced diet, avoid smoking, and do regular exercise.
Can you talk a little bit about the smoking? Because some women smokes at that age, and what's the impact of smoking?
The thing is that usually why it's basically there is this discomfortable emotional imbalance in the woman, and in order to not face that situation, to engage in something, and that could be even harmful, but it is engaging in something outside, so they get out of that zone of not feeling good. But the negative effects of smoking we all know. Basically, if the lungs are healthy and throat is and everything is healthy, then still smoking naturally causes injurious damage to the lung tissue.
And on the dryness, let's say on the vaginal dryness, does it have an impact?
It does not have specifically direct impact there, but it certainly does increase vata, which means air, which means dryness, overall dryness. It does increase overall dryness, and that can affect the whole body.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Now we will go into the, Now we will try to understand the same thing, even though throughout the talk I was talking about Ayurvedic principles, but now specifically we go into Ayurvedic part. The term for menopause in Ayurveda in Sanskrit is called Rajo Nivriti, and Rajo means the menstrual blood. That's called Raj, and Nivriti means it's just
letting go.
Letting go. So that is what is the definite stoppage of menstrual flow. Rajonivriti or menopause is a natural phenomena taking place around between 45 to 50. Okay. In the Asian countries, sometimes it is a little bit early, so it could be around 45. Here it is around 50, 51, 52, around that time. And generally, I mean, pathology, basically we don't consider this as a pathology. We don't consider this as a disease. It's
great news.
It's not a disease. In fact, I will share with you that in our country, in India, or even here, in some places, those who are practicing more yoga and those things, and in Asian countries where the cleaning and all those things are still done more manually. So that means the women are sitting in a specific posture to do all those things, the dishes and gardening And that's why body organs get massage, and so that's why this thing, they don't even notice anything. They don't even complain of it. The menopause particularly is not even a big complaint there. Here I see that more often it's a big issue because the priorities has completely changed. So that's why. So that means, that indicates that there is something that this transition can be smooth and not bothering. And in fact, I can share that my wife, I didn't even notice that that was something, an issue. I didn't even notice when she was going through that phase. I didn't even notice.
Wow.
And reason was because she did not have those very aggravated or very pronounced symptoms. So that's why it was so smooth.
And she already has a lifestyle that supports it.
Exactly. And that the home environment and everything was so understanding, so nurturing, so caring.
Yeah.
So it all went very smooth. So during this age, the pitta starts declining, as I explained in terms of hormones. So around we learned that until 20, 24, 25, it's kapha, or it is earth and water age. And then from 25 till 45, 48, it is the fire, right? So now around 45 or 50, the fire starts going down. Fire means pitta. So that starts going down. And hydration ability, moisturizing ability also starts going down. So that means dryness increasing and heat also. So these two, but the heat one fluctuates. So altogether in one word, it is the dryness or vata increasing. From Ayurvedic perspective, it is dryness or vata increasing. Okay. And that also affects the nervous system. It affects the skin quality. Okay.
Because one thing that you mentioned to me before is that the Vata is responsible for the nervous system.
Nervous system.
So if Vata increases, it has an effect.
Mood fluctuations.
Yes.
Yeah, mood swings.
And depression,
and
anxiety, and all those things.
Right.
It can increase
Right.
if it's not well managed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So now we will talk about, in Ayurveda, every disorder or every imbalance is categorized according to these three biological factors. Now here we are understanding these three biological factors which we understood before as kapha, pitta, vata as of the constitution or genetic makeup. Now we are understanding them as the one that go out of balance.
Yeah.
Right? So in this phase what is happening, that when the menopausal changes are happening, then these doshas go up and down. So we have categorized the symptoms according to vata, pitta and kapha.
Excellent.
So the vata symptoms, vata type, particularly those, there are some women who have more vata predominant symptoms, there are some who have more pitta predominant symptoms, and there are some very small number also kapha. So the tingling sensation, the sensation is basically due to air or due to vata. Vata represents nervous system in our body, nervous system circulation. So the tingling sensation, numbness, vaginal dryness, joint pains or joint stiffness, or osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and sleep problem, sometimes the palpitation, back pain, anxiety. So these are the symptoms, restlessness, lack of concentration. So these are the symptoms. We can see that there are symptoms that are physical, as on the skin, palpitation. There are symptoms that are emotional, so mood swings and palpitation and anxiety easily. And then there are behavioral, so the sleep problem. So these are different categories of symptoms that come due to vata predominant menopausal phase. Okay.
Yep.
Then we go into the pitta type of menopausal phase. So there's hot flashes, more night sweating, okay, and irritability, hot temper, suddenly anger, okay, and
I have some images.
and loose bowels. All of a sudden, women start saying that my bowels were okay, but now they tend to be loose. Okay, that is due to pitta.
Okay.
Okay, and then for the kapha, there is more retention of fluid. Kapha type of symptoms, more retention of fluid, so some edema and some weight gain and some heaviness, some sleepiness, lack of energy, lethargy, depression, those can be the symptoms of kapha predominant type. So are we good so far?
Very good.
Good.
It's very structured, and we have the images, and we have the air, the fire, the earth, so it goes well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So now we will go into the treatment. We have talked about the modern approach where they were bringing some hormone replacement therapy and some different kinds of pills, but Ayurveda has a much simpler version of it. So in terms of what exactly we focus when there is Vata predominant, which means dryness increasing. So to make it simple, when there is more of Vata symptoms coming, then Vata means air, means dry and cool. So that means those are the things that are increasing in our body. So in simple terms, we have to reduce the dryness. So it means more hydration, more moisturization. So that means we have to drink more water, we have to apply more oil. So oil massages, different kinds of oil massages. Right, so those are the things that we will bring in, and and those things are not only that they are only addressing the hydration or only addressing the moisturizing part, just the touch, the action of touch,
the loving touch
and nurturing touch. It is done by yourself, your own touch to yourself, or it is done by a massage therapist or some Ayurvedic massage therapist. Either way, it works.
And when we do it to ourselves, it's not just, okay.
No, it's not. No rush. Like, it has to be. So in Ayurveda, what we call the effect, ultimate effect is because of oil that you are using, technique you are using. But more important than these two, to make these two effective, your attention and your intention. And if you go in with the attention that you want to feel yourself nurtured, emotionally nourished, and then also calm down, ground, if you go with that intention, you will never do like this. Then it will be very...
You will never do like this to someone you love.
Right. Yeah. So that's why when you do self-massage, it's not only application of oil, but it's also feeling yourself.
Excellent.
With emotionally thinking that you need this love, you need this care, you deserve it. So with that intention. Okay.
And it's a specific time just for you.
Okay. So the Vata treatment in general should be more nurturing, warming, right? And moistening and calming. So calming and nurturing are at mental and emotional level. Yeah. And moistening and warming are because dryness is increasing, and then also some coolness. So that's why you do those things, right?
Yep.
Now, how do you do those things? So number one is abdominal massage. It could be full body massage or it could be abdominal massage. Generally, we recommend that sesame oil is always good. So you can find pure cold pressed sesame oil and cure it. So it should be heated a little bit and then used.
Okay.
And then you can apply on your body. Okay.
So it's warm and it goes well in the skin.
In the skin, yeah. Even when there is dryness, then the same can be used. The soap, the cotton, and then it can be used for vaginal dryness by using as a tampon.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and also to keep hydrated and improve if there is coolness particularly, then ginger tea will be good.
Okay.
So just basically take the fresh organic grated ginger, 1 teaspoon, and add into 1 cup of hot water, and then let it sit for some time, and then just drink. Just drinking that whole day will help for digestion, will help for bowel movement, will help for bringing some heat, right? And we are talking about Vata type. Okay. And also, so this is more at the level of what herbal teas we can do. In terms of food, we should prefer more Vata balancing. So that means more herbal teas, more warm foods, more cooked meals, not the salad, cold salad may not be good, right? So even salad has to be rinsed with some hot water. Some good juices would be good. Some good fruits like melons would be good. And some apples, pears, mangoes.
Let's say in the summertime,
Yes. Yeah.
Not in the winter time like we have here.
Yeah, and pomegranate juice would be good.
Yeah.
Blueberry juice would be good. Or blueberry fruits will be good. So these are the things that will be preferred particularly.
Okay.
And in the grains, also light grains like quinoa, basmati rice, or even wild rice, brown rice. In the dairy products like goat milk, goat cheese, goat yogurt, those are light but still nourishing.
And it's all of those food are easy to digest.
Easy to digest, yes. Yeah. And for vata imbalance or vata type, cooked meal is always good. Yeah. Cooked and warm is always good. Yeah. Green leafy vegetables, but cooked.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and then in terms of, again, yoga. So, Sukh Pranayam, Sukh means just sitting, relax and take a deep breath, but in no rush. Just
there's nowhere to go.
Yeah. So breathe in, breathe in. So when you are breathing, it's not just the taking oxygen in and getting carbon dioxide out. It's not that. From Ayurvedic perspective, we are taking the nourishing, grounding cosmic prana or cosmic life breath in, and then it goes in physically at the cellular level, at the deep level, emotional level, mental level, and then all the toxins, which means here we can say carbon dioxide, but all other emotional toxins, all other mental toxins. So when we breathe out, we think, we put our attention that we are releasing all those toxins out. So that's the process of breathing, and this we can call as Sukh means easy, and Pranayama means breathing. So Sukh breathing.
Excellent.
Sukh Pranayama. Okay. Also meditation. Different kinds of meditation are there in practice. I personally practice transcendental meditation. The point here is which particular meditation. You should be transcending. That's the key point here, that whichever meditation does not engage you, does not involve you, but gradually through the technique it disengages you and brings to a state of total quietness and total relaxed, that kind of meditation you need. Okay, so meditation will be very helpful. In terms of supplements, you need something very nourishing. So there are several kinds of supplements. You can have some Chyawanprash, it's a very well known product. You can also have Amrit Kalash, that's also a very well known product. Or anything that is nourishing, very nourishing, pure, organic and nourishing.
Excellent, okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Then we have the treatments for Pitta type. So which means that we understood that generally the symptoms are more Vata and Pitta predominant, but then sometimes in some women who are particularly Pitta predominant genetic makeup or Pitta predominant dosha type, they will have more Pitta symptoms. So when you have more Pitta symptoms, that means more heat, that means more fire. So then in that case, one has to take more cooling treatment, right? So it will be more massage with cooling oils. It could be plain coconut oil, it could be olive oil, or it could be also, we say, Narayana oil, that is also particularly made with the coconut base. Okay. So they will be more soothing, more calming. We also make this Pitta massage oil, so which has some rose oil, some sandalwood essential oil, and some. So that is very, very soothing and calming. Okay. In terms of spice mixes or herbal teas, also we can get these Pitta herbal tea or Pitta spice mix. So everything that we cook will be with Pitta spice mix. The spices that Pitta spice mix will have coriander, cumin, fennel, turmeric, these things that will be there in the Pitta spice mix. And Pitta tea, herbal tea also can have rose petal in it, can have coriander in it, can have fennel in it, mint in it. So that will be the tea.
Cooling.
Yeah, cooling.
Think about cooling all the time for Pitta.
And then we have for Kapha. So in the Kapha, because Kapha is already earth and water, which means they already tend to have more oily skin. Yeah. So in their case, we prefer more the dry massage. So no oil, just if we can take some silk cloth or some linen cloth and just do the dry massages. Okay. And or it could be also they could use more flaxseed oil for massage. Okay.
Because this absorbs the water.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
And for kapha type, because they will have tendency of slow digestion and more ama, which means their digestion is slow and they have toxins, digestive toxins in there. So there is a formulation that is called trikatu, or 3 herbs which are pungent or spicy: dry ginger, black pepper, and long pepper. So the powder of that, just maybe 1/4 teaspoon they can take, and that will help to boost their digestion.
And that's a supplement.
That's a supplement. Yeah, it's sold as a supplement. Yeah. And because they will have a tendency of slow bowels and sometimes mucus in the stool, so it's good to regulate the bowel movement. They can take some aloe juice. Punarnava particularly is very, very good. Punarnava is a herb, Borvia diffusa. Punarnava can be used. Shankpushpi and Brahmi or Bacopa and Ashwagandha. These 3 are very good for mental symptoms, so anxiety or sleep problem, depression. So for that, these herbs are very good. We have combination formulas here. We have brain tone, we have also ashwagandha we can get, and that will help for those things. Okay. And for kapha type particularly, sun salutation will be good. It is 12 postures with different breathing pattern, so that's very good. Yeah.
To be in the movement.
Yeah. Okay, now we will try to cover some herbs particularly for vata type, pitta type, and kapha type.
And that is general indication?
General indication, yeah, general indication. I will suggest that when you have these symptoms very pronounced, always to see some expert, some Ayurvedic doctor or Ayurveda practitioner, because then there could be total assessment of you, but still you can do many things on your own. By making simple changes, you can basically make your transition very smooth.
But when we talk about herbs, it has a deep impact.
Yes.
So it's powerful.
It's powerful.
To use herbs. So it's better, I think, to be under the guidance of a professional for that.
Correct. So here we can see that for menopause with vata predominance, and vata predominant would have some anxiety, some restlessness, some sleep problem. One single herb that is very, very good for that is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is like Withania somnifera, and it's called winter cherry.
Okay, I don't know that.
So that is very, very good. If it is in the powder form, then probably I would say 1/2 teaspoon. But if it is in the extract form, then 500 milligram extract capsule, that will be good for at least 2 to 3 times a day. Okay. So ashwagandha is very good because it is vata pacifying. It reduces the vata, and it is also nourishing. Okay. And another one is jatamansi. That's, I don't know if it is easily available, but that's very, very good for brain function, and it's good for relaxing, particularly for sleep problems. It's very good. Okay. And again, this could be 500 milligram at bedtime with warm water. Now we will go into the supplements, particularly for pitta. So pitta means hot, means increased heat, hot flashes, night sweats, and palpitation. So those symptoms, anger. So shatavari, asparagus racemosus. It's not the asparagus that we get as a vegetable, but it's more the asparagus root.
Yeah.
Okay. So asparagus racemosus, very, very good. It's considered to be one of the best women rejuvenation herb. Okay. So that can be given because it is pitta reducing, and it is calming, soothing, and it is also nourishing. And so it's could be taken about 1 to 2 grams. If it is in the powder form, then 1 to 2 grams twice daily. If it is in the extract form, then 500 milligram capsule, 1 to 2 capsules twice daily.
Okay.
Okay. And the guduchi it's also a herb. It's a climber. It's called Tinospora cordifolia. It's very, very good pitta reducing, very good for liver. And so it reduces the pitta. That's also very good herb. Again, 500 milligrams twice daily. Aloe gel is very, very important because aloe gel helps to reduce pitta, heat in the liver, because we call that whenever fire is increased or emotional anger, it accumulates in the liver. So aloe gel helps for liver cleanse, gentle, very gentle liver cleanse. 1 tablespoon twice daily, it could be given. Brahmi and Gotu Kola, they are particularly good for nervous system, and they are very calming, soothing and relaxing, good for sleep also.
Excellent. Wow.
Good. So I think this helped. I tried to summarize, give you the physiological understanding of hormonal play throughout the life, and the dosha play throughout the life, and which dosha is predominant particularly in menopause, which hormones get disturbed. And then we talked about the 5 elements, we talked about the doshas, and then we also talked about which particular dosha brings imbalance in the menopausal phase, and what are the diets that can be done, what are the lifestyle changes that could be made. And to make this particular transition, most important transition, that should be considered as a golden transition, smooth, you can feel yourself not, oh, something negative happening, aging is coming, or you are entering into depressing age. No, it's actually more acknowledgement of wisdom, more acknowledgement of much more that you can do. The priorities will change from the whatever were there before it was for society, for children, for husband and all that, and now it will be all of that, but it's also you have to get connected to yourself. You have to get connected to yourself, emotional, so it's also emotional nourishment, it is more grounding, it's more calming, and the priorities can also go towards now the spiritual focus, the spiritual development, finding yourself, connecting to yourself, knowing yourself, and finding the higher aspects of journey, more spiritual growth. So I hope this was helpful.
It's very helpful, and I really like the conclusion of it, because it's not, okay, we saw how to personalize let's say the menopause, like the symptoms of menopause, and how to personalize it to ourselves, like what we can do for it. But I like the opening that it's not just physical, it's not just emotional. There is much more to it.
Yes.
And it's like the second spring that's really opens, and the golden transition that's happening. Yeah.
Well, I feel very blessed that you gave me this opportunity to speak the better half of the world, because women make better half, and I got to contribute some. I hope that this is helpful, and
it's very helpful.
My women friends will enjoy it most and benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And what we'll do is, what I also want to talk about is, we can reach you for personal consultation. So we have just be under it the website, your phone number, so we can reach you. But also you are starting to have online programs.
Yes.
So could you just talk a little bit about it, because maybe some people are very interested to do more on the Ayurvedic side, and it can be done all around the world.
Yes,
so
yes, thank you. So what exactly my goal is, I have my teacher, spiritual teacher, his name is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and his goal was to bring Ayurveda knowledge and its practice to every household. And the way we have to make it, because until now it was thought, oh, healthcare, this is the field of specialist, you have headache, you just run to the doctor. But this knowledge is so simple. It is based on experience of natural laws that we experience anyway, but never think from the perspective if this experience can be converted into a body of knowledge to take care of your own health prevention and health maintenance for yourself, for your family, for everyone around. So now I have taken this project, this is my vision and this is my mission in life, to bring this knowledge, to make it so simple that everyone can enjoy it. Those who don't want to choose this as a career, still it is good for mothers, it is good for single persons, so they can benefit from it, stay healthy. It's kind of a passport to health.
Yes.
But I also have structured the courses for public interest. I have structured courses for those who are looking for a career, a profession.
Yeah.
And so they can actually take this. I want to share that how being in this profession helps me more than just making living. This is my passion and this is so fulfilling. I never feel tired. even if I teach whole day, I
I
see
know,
clients whole day, and still I don't feel tired. So anyone who is looking not for only for profession to make living, but also fulfilling as a side benefit all the time, no retirement age, this is amazing career. So I have a structured 500-hour certificate course, and these are now, these will be available online, but right now already they are available distance education. So what happens that there are the 500-hour course is 10 modules,
Yep.
and then each module is on a specific topic, and all the notes are clearly made, and a person can come sign up for the course, and then given one module, sit with me and I explain everything in it, and then give the study questions. They take home, study at their pace, at the comfort of their home, and then finish it. In between, if they have any question, they can come here personally, or they can talk to me over the phone or by Skype. Once they are done, they send me the answers. If I see that the foundation that has to be done by module 1 is already there, answers are satisfying, you are ready for next module. So like that we give. Then after this 10 modules are done, then there are 100 clinical cases, because I want to make sure that person who is offering healthcare service to people feels confident and can do it effectively. So that's why there are 100 clinical cases.
And you supervise
I
everything
supervise
by yourself.
everything, yes.
That's the great point of view.
Right. There are other courses also. There is Ayurveda spa technician course, Ayurveda wellness consultant course. So there are different kinds of courses which are also available on my website, and we will probably list that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very, very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Gupta. And maybe as your last word, do you have anything you would like to say to the woman that is listening right now?
Well, I would just say that feel yourself blessed being a woman, and it's really, you make the better half, and amazingly you contribute. We need to recognize that, and Ayurvedic knowledge has given enough emphasis, has brought enough knowledge for women health, and I feel privileged. You feel yourself privileged, and this phase, take that as a golden transition phase, so that you can contribute more and more as you have contributed as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a wife, or as a woman. There is much more that you can do in the rest of your life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Et on va se retrouver très bientôt dans une prochaine vidéo.